Hello again, everyone out there, and welcome to another episode of the Rich Cheese Radio Podcast, your home for the horological hot takes, taboo topics, and often unpopular watch opinions. I'm your host, Brodinky. With me is my good buddy Schmidt. Schmitty, what's cracking, kid?
Not a whole lot, man. Just another weekend, enjoying the extended weekend and recording another episode. So, how's everything with you?
Really good. I aside from doing what we like to call a clopening today, the
Ah, yes, yes.
that is an
I'm familiar
open.
with that term. I am very familiar with that term for
For
sure.
those who don't know, that's the open to close.
Yeah.
That aside, doing pretty good. Very busy lately. For those who are big followers on social, you'll know that we have kicked off this year's pink straps. They're going
Yes.
very, very well, which we're very excited about. For those who are new, and I'll make it brief because I know a lot of people have been with us, but for those who are new, we do a yearly fundraiser. Myself and Nick from Strap Habit, and we make a donation to the American Cancer Society in an event that used to be called Real Men Wear Pink. Now it's just Men Wear Pink, semantics, yada, yada. But nonetheless, we come up with a strap throughout the year. Nick makes it happen. He does not take a profit. And we do 100% donation to this foundation. Last year, we did a pink sailcloth strap. It was an interesting strap, but I don't think it went with every single watch. So this year, we tried
Sure.
to really, really get it out there and make it sort of accessible for everybody. And my joke was to everybody who asked me ahead of time, I said you shouldn't leave home without one. Obviously, I meant a rubber.
Mm.
This is
Yes, yes,
yeah,
yes.
so this year's an FKM rubber with a ridge down the middle. It's very good looking, very comfortable. It's got an Easter egg on the buckle. It's got the B and strap habit is outlined with my sort of red, well, it's not red, but the red square in my sort of logo, if you will, has a B in it. And so the B and strap habit is also encased in a square, which is really cool. So it's got all the little knickknacks, the quick change spring bars and everything. And they come in 20 millimeter and 22. And right now we are approaching 40% sold out already. So
Are you serious? Already
yeah,
at 40%?
yeah. So it went
It's
out
been
to
it's been 2 days.
email subscribers over the weekend.
Okay, okay.
So email subscribers over the weekend. Then 2 days ago, fresh on the market, and we are about 40% sold out. That's over
Wow.
8,000 in donations already. So that's amazing.
That's insane, dude. That is so crazy. I mean, I did my piece. I ordered my two, but I'm like, dang, already 40%.
Yeah.
That's nuts. That's nuts.
Well,
Good
that's
for you
that's
guys.
that's what's happening is where you're getting a lot of people who are picking up two. Because he sent
Yeah.
me the graphic that said X amount of buyers, X amount of products sold to X amount of buyers, and I was like, oh, people are picking up more than one. All right,
Yeah.
that's neat.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I mean,
I mean, it's cool.
I have a lot of
You gotta have I've had the squad. Like I have a buddy right now. He's in Hawaii and he's like, as soon as they drop, let me know. Well, when they dropped, I tried to let him know, but I think he was flying across the ocean, and so there was no signal. So I was like, you know what? I'm just not gonna chance that he misses out. I'll just buy him his strap. And coincidentally, it's his birthday and everything. So I was like, I'm just gonna give him the
very
strap for his
nice, very
birthday.
nice.
So I was like, all right, that'll be my good gesture, my good deed. But I was just like, yeah, I can't sleep on this. Like, I don't want him to miss out because he'll be pissed. He's like, I want to know as soon as it drops. I'm like, all right, I got you. I got you.
Yeah, so that's neat, and people are also just picking up some other stuff with the straps, which is nice because then Nick can make a little something back on his full donation. And
Yeah,
again,
baby.
I always ask him if he wants to split it. He always tells me no, so that's why I do most of the chest beating on the other end to make it happen.
Yeah, it's a good thing. And I know he runs like some additional, obviously you're not going to get any price break on the donation straps, but I know right now he does a lot of like sales. If you add additional items to your cart, you'll get a percentage off other straps.
Yes, which is nice.
So it's cool. That way you can get a couple straps and kind of accessorize them as you need.
Yeah, and he's got a lot of stuff. He's got tropics, like I said, sailcloths. He's got a lot of different things. So definitely go check that out. And thank you to those who have taken part already and continue to tag us in the wrist shots and post things. And we've got some cool videos up. I know Random Rob's got one up on YouTube.
Yeah, I
So
saw it already. Yeah.
pretty cool. Yeah. It's grown into a pretty amazing thing with or without the help of any big players. So suck on that.
Yes, with or without the help of any big players. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. But again, thank you everybody for the help, and look forward to hopefully selling these out and seeing some at Wind Up New York maybe next month. So that'll be fun. That will definitely be fun. In addition to these, I also have some watches and some goodies that I'm going to be giving away or raffling off, whatever you want to call them. I haven't announced them just yet. We're going to let the straps do their thing for a little bit first before I get into that. But another perk of buying straps is you'll be able to be entered in for those two, which is pretty cool. So I'm
Yes,
up to
baby.
five watches now, so that's great.
Of all different price points. All
Yeah, all
different
different
price
price
points.
points, all different things. Yeah, if you caught me on, I did whiskey and watches the other night. We had a good time in memoriam of Bob Barker. We played a little
Yeah.
Price is Right. I actually got I didn't a reverso. I actually hosted the episode.
Did you really? I gotta listen to it.
Sort of,
I
yeah.
haven't
So
listened.
I
It's on
I
my
play
queue, but I haven't gotten to it yet.
I played Bob Barker, and Buzz and Spence were the contestants on Prices Right.
Nice.
Yeah, a lot of fun. We always have a good time. So
I'll just say this as a side note. Um, I love when you go to Strap Habits like website and it's like ticks like all the people who have bought something. Like,
oh yeah,
have you noticed that like the
I have, yeah.
instantaneous ticker? So like I've been on the site for just cruising around, trolling everything for a couple minutes. Literally 5 people from my surrounding area have ordered these
That's
straps.
funny, man. Wow.
It just like it's all from Texas. It's like, this city, this city, this city, this city, this city. I'm like, oh yeah, okay, here you go. I like it. So there's a lot of people getting straps right now.
Very
So
nice.
Nick, good on you, buddy. Good
Yeah.
on you.
Enjoy.
Enjoy the money, buddy.
All right. I guess we will saunter into our new things here. First of all, let's give Mr. Schmidt his due. Last week, he had been telling me that there was a third new Seiko GMT. We had seen the yellow, we had seen the Pepsi Rehot. He said there was another one, and there is indeed another one. It is the SSK021, and it's sort of a black and gilt, if you will. It's very reminiscent of the two-tone GMT Master almost, except that the bracelet isn't two-tone at all. But it's got the gold bezel. It's got a golden GMT hand,
Yeah.
but it looks like it's got the same uh bezel insert as the one that I have,
Yeah.
with sort of
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
black and the smoke. And I can't. I think is that a gray dial?
It's an anthracite or it's a
Okay.
dark gray dot.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's gotta be. So I'm just happy this exists because I thought I saw it and I was like, am I going crazy? And then I was like, I saw it. I was like, I think it's my favorite colorway. And I was trying to show you a picture of it, and you're like, I have no idea which what you're
Yeah, it's
talking
weird.
about.
Nobody had posted it, and I'm
I
like,
saw it somewhere. I
I was
saw it
like,
somewhere, and I didn't screenshot it, and I should have.
yeah.
And
I was like, why
here it
would nobody
is.
post this? This is like a really neat iteration, and
And it's honestly my favorite. It's
yeah, it's
honestly my
very
favorite because
nice.
it feels very like very stealthy, but very upscale in a way. And this you just know is gonna be a strap monster. So it's just like this would be perfect. And you guys know two tone's kind of a thing right now. So why not?
Yeah, for sure. But I think it's cool. I would like to see it with a two-tone Jubilee. That would be really sick. But
Yeah, but I think keeping costs down.
all right, keeping costs down, and sometimes if you scratch your gold plated, it doesn't look that good.
Yeah, I mean, if you really want a two-tone Jubilee, just go get a super Jubilee from, what is it, Strapped
Strap
Code or
code or
what?
somebody.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's so many of them out there that do those two-tone Jubilees, and they'll do them for Seiko divers. So why not?
Yeah. All right, one black and gold to the next. What do you think, guy? The new Doxa Shark Hunter sub 300 beta.
You know, I know that this watch has a lot of mixed reviews, specifically surrounding the date window.
Not gonna lie, I got
But
them.
I saw your meme. I think it was good. But I don't hate this watch in any stretch. I think it's cool. I think it's obviously very surprising for Doxa. And I think that that's kind of what the biggest issue is it caught a lot of people off guard.
I like the color scheme. I'm curious to see what this will look like in person because it's very matte, it appears, the whole way around. Dial, bezel, case. And I'm just trying to see if in person this would really jump with the gold accents.
I feel like it would. I think there's enough of a contrast there. It just depends on how it's executed. But again, it's one of those things that you have to see in person.
Yeah, because the gold looks pretty reflective to me. And do you know, are those gold hands or are those polished black hands?
I think they're blackened hands.
Okay. All right. Because I mean, one thing that I always kind of joke about is legibility and stuff, but at least you could tell the time,
Yeah, you definitely can tell the time, that's for sure.
but
And I think
hard
that
to read that time.
and I think that they've achieved that by using different types of tonality for the black color. Because when you think about the ceramic case, it's a very simple, smooth texture, and then you have the highly aggressive texture of the dial, and then a very smooth bezel. But you can see that there's different shades of black, and even the hands themselves are a darker, glossier black than the rest of the bezel insert and the rest of the dial. So I certainly think you can see it. And I think that in combination with the faux patina on the markers lends itself very well to a timepiece you can actually read.
Yeah, I'm curious if this is going to be somewhat like the almost like the blacked out Seamaster.
I mean, that's what I'm thinking about because that's is for those people who've never seen that watch in person, it's extremely legible. It's extremely legible for an all black timepiece. And that one takes it even a step further because the hands are blackened, the markers, the loom, and everything's blackened out. But that, it takes it a step further. Here, you obviously have the faux patina and everything. You can see it.
Yeah.
And
Well,
it's
yeah.
it's really, really, really well done. So um I think in this case you'll be able to see it. You can see the different colors and textures of the black. And I think it's going to be a great watch for somebody that's looking for something different, is into something unique from Doxa, and it's a new ceramic case. So that's the other thing that I think is amazing about this collection. This is the first time that we see the production ceramic outside of the one that they did for Was earlier in the year
Right.
or last year.
Yeah, I think in person it might be better than it looks. I think it just looks so stark and so such high contrast on social that it looks like you're just never gonna be like see this watch at all. And then, but I think in person it's probably not this dark,
No, I would agree with you. It's definitely not that dark,
and I
and
think you might be able to actually read the bezel.
yeah, and again, this is more where you start to see fashion play a factor versus function. This is more about the form than it is about the function, and I think a lot of people sometimes forget that. You know, is it easy to read the time on a skeletonized sapphire crystal Big Bang? No, but it looks cool anyway. I don't care. It's kind of one of those things here. Is it have to be super legible and the date super clear? No, but it's not about that. It's about the aesthetic. It's about the look. This is a very cool take on the two tone. It's very like 80s like Hoyer night diver kind of vibes. Like you
Yep.
ever see the the two tone divers they did back then with the black and gold? Like this
Yep.
is kind of like that. And obviously in a much better material being ceramic. So kudos to Doxa. I love it. I can't wait to see one in person. I know I'm sure people at the Wasp Boutique are probably having the phone ring for a bit. It's just going to be a big step up for them in terms of price point in the collection. So we'll see.
Yep. On to a very opposite feeling here. So from a pretty subdued diver to a very up and in your face diver. Oris has had a busy week, and I guess we'll start off with the 4,000 meter Aquas Pro. coming in at 49.5 millimeters. This is a big
Yeah.
boy, but it's an interesting drop. I mean, it's something very, very different for them. And I think it's pretty playful and it's got a lot going on. You got a wave dial, you've got a very nice color scheme, a big bold rubber strap on there. And yeah, it's a big boy, but it's intriguing. I mean, it's thick as hell.
Yeah, there's no slicing it. This is thick, but that's kind of the trade-off you get when you do a deep sea diver like this. I mean, you look at something like the ultra deep, like that's not a thin watch.
No,
It's over 18 millimeters thick. This has to be just based on the pictures. It's got to be thicker than that,
it is. Yeah.
and it's got to be because of the crystal. You have such a small opening for the aperture, but you have a very thick crystal on top of it that protrudes past the case. But regardless, I think if you're looking for something that is rigorously tested, over engineered to say the max, I think that this is certainly a great option. It's 4,000 meters, so it's a touch over 13,000 feet underwater, which is no small feat.
Nope, it's quite far.
Um, and certainly when you think about this, I mean, right now this is deeper than a deep sea. I mean, that is nuts. I mean, I think the deep sea is 3,990, and you can get this watch, and it's $6,200
Right.
in full titanium. So, is it a small watch? No. Is it an inexpensive watch? No. But for the price of a Planet Ocean, you can outbest the deep sea,
Yep.
which I think is very cool. And obviously, there's some technical innovations here. Oris introduced like a locking rotation system for their dive
Yeah, I
bezel.
saw that.
It's very interesting. So I think you like pull it up, rotate it, and then push it down. It locks it into place, which might be cool on paper. I don't know how practical that is in practice, but again, how practical is a 4,000 meter rated dive watch? So, uh, we're splitting hairs here, but it is a caliber movement, which I think is great. It's titanium case. The dial, like you said, is really, really beautiful. It's a little bit more playful than kind of like the ultra serious diver you get from like an ultra deep or something like that. But, you know, great color, great looking watch, and obviously a beast.
Yeah, I want to pick one of these up and kind of give it a feel just to see what it's like. Obviously, titanium is gonna be a little bit lighter,
Yeah.
and
And on
I'm a
strap too.
right, right, and I'm a big fan of watches like the tuna, so I want to kind of see just
Yeah,
this is gonna be a
definitely
little bit
tuna
bigger than that.
vibes. Definitely tuna vibes for
It's gonna be a
sure.
little bit bigger than that, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm definitely down to just check it out and play with it and see how it is. But
Why not?
definitely
I
need
mean,
its innovation. It's something we've kind of been waiting on
and it
Oris for, and they definitely delivered something here.
and it pushes the entirety of the industry forward. I think that that's something that a lot of people don't understand or don't, realize about something like this. This is great because now a brand like Oris is delivering an ultra deep diver, and they're in very small company. I mean, you have very serious high end watch manufacturers producing watches like this. And right now there's nothing to point out about. It's 4,000 meters rated, it's in-house movement, 10-year service intervals.
That's
You
right. I
know,
forgot about that.
it has a 5-day power reserve, I think is what the caliber
Yep.
movements offer. Like this is not a slouch of a watch. So, I mean, obviously it's probably on the upper echelon of cost for an Oris, but you're getting a technically very, very impressive watch. So I'm for it. I
Yeah.
think anybody out there looking for a
60
sea a deep sea diver should definitely take a look at this one.
6,200 for all those bells and
6,200.
whistles. I mean, at the end of the day, it's really not that bad.
No, I mean it's quite literally half the cost of an ultra deep, and you're not that far off. What's 2,000 meters between friends? You know what I mean?
Yep.
Especially in the titanium variation. So
Yep. Yep.
you're not too far off from there.
Nope. And it's cool. It gives them a platform to sort of play on for the future, which is also nice.
Yeah, I just want to see. I think the next step for Oris. I mean, if they can do something like this, I really want them to come back with the depth gauge.
Oh, okay.
I want to see that come back.
Yeah, why not? Right at this point.
I mean, you can do a 4,000 meter watch. You can use water pressure inside the crystal to tell you the depth that you are. I think that that's pretty cool. But Oris, if you are listening, I want the depth gauge in not yellow and black anymore. I want you to come up with a crazy color, just something insane.
Well, if not, I'll slip it to Josh and BJ at Wind Up Weekend.
Yeah, there you go. Just come up with something absolutely bananas, lime green or something like that, and just call it a day.
There we go.
Be something unique.
All right, I guess we'll stick with them because they've had quite a few drops this week. They've got a new upcycle. If you remember the old one, it sort of had the ocean plastic melted dial look to it.
Mm-hmm,
This one
mm-hmm.
is specifically very blue and green because it's melted down ghost nets. And for those who don't know what those are, that is when fishing vessels or whoever would abandon nets in the ocean and
Yep.
they would all make their way to that whatever triangle of sadness
Yeah.
situation. But needless to say, the wildlife gets stuck in it, and so this company BraceNet has been helping clean that up. Uh, when they were down diving in Tanzania, they saw a bunch of them, and so they got inspired, and they've been cleaning up the ocean ever since. That's right up Orsa's alley. You know how much they're into saving the ocean and all that. So they've done another upcycle, and they've got these nets melted down into dials now, and they're
Beautiful
blue, they're
dial.
green. To me, this one looks a lot better.
Yeah, I think it looks a lot better because it's a little bit more harmonious with the
Right. That's
coloring.
exactly what I was gonna say.
Like the other previous upcycles are cool, but they look like plastic. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
we
there's
had some red, some pink, some white, some blue. It was a
yeah,
little bit you really didn't know what you were getting into, sight unseen.
yeah,
These
yeah,
ones you have
yeah.
a pretty good idea. I mean, you're still gonna have probably some better than others as far as the melting process goes, but I think you're gonna get a much more consistent dial with these.
I agree. I agree. And I think that that's a good thing.
Yeah, and you get a gray bezel, which is nice. I think it's a nice contrast. They come on bracelet. They come in both 36 and a half or 43 and change if you're into the
Okay.
bigger or smaller. Nice watch. I think everybody really liked the old one. I think this one is a step up in my opinion.
Yeah, I would agree. I would agree with that for sure. I would certainly agree. So, Oris, keep doing what you're doing. Ocean conservation is obviously very important to you. The previous upcycle did very well. I know a lot of people from retailers and different things that had the upcycle and they really loved it. I think this one is also going to be good. I think the only difference is going to be, are people going to drive with the 43 millimeter version? Because I know the previous upcycle was 41.5.
Mm.
So it went from 36.5 to 41.5. Now this is what, 36.5 and 43.5.
Hmm.
So we'll see.
Yeah,
But regardless, beautiful dial.
both of which with 300 meters water resistance, and either one comes in at 2,600.
Yeah. So this is
So
going to be a non in-house movement, but still very, very nice.
okay, on to Zen has brought back a rendition of the 356. For those who are familiar with the old 356, it was a chunky three register chronograph. Now they have sort of streamlined it. It is a bicompax. It comes in three flavors. It looks like Panda, a somewhat reverse Panda with a grayish anthracite dial, maybe, and
Mm-hmm,
then
mm-hmm.
a gradient dial sort of gilt motif where it's got like a sort of a copperish hue that fades out to black,
Yep.
and it's got sort of the patinaed hands and everything. I think it's a very good looking watch. I think these are very nice. The price on Zins has gone up consistently year over
Yep.
year,
Yep.
so they're not going to be cheap anymore. I think the 356 was sort of known as like a darling of that regard. I think when I remember first starting to look at them, I think you could get them for like 15, 1600, like
Yeah, those days
gently
are gone.
used or something like that. Yeah, those
Those
days are
days are
no
okay.
longer with us. But I mean, they
Oh,
are putting in a lot of work. I mean, if you look, the build quality on these and the dials are much crisper, and it's
yeah.
very nice. I got to give it to them. It
You
is very nice, but they're no longer an affordable sort of watch brand.
Well, I mean, I still think that they're an affordable watch brand, but where you're starting to see them separate themselves is they're not a micro brand anymore.
Certainly not.
They're much more mainstream, they're much more collectible. And, because of that, their finishing also commands that too. Like you said, I mean, when you used to think about Zen, it was just like black dial, white numbers. And that was like it. Now we're getting pandas. Now we're getting fume dials. Now we're getting, custom collaborations or limited edition pieces. We saw Black Mother of Pearl. Like they're starting to do much more delicate, intricate things with dial finishing because let's be honest, the aesthetic overall is very simple. It's military.
Yep.
So it's very hard to dress up military unless you do a certain couple of things. But regardless, I think that they've done that here, and it looks good. I love the choice of going away from the kind of value based movement, the three sub dials, day date of the older one, which really made it thick, as you pointed out.
Yeah.
I think this two sub dial register, how they classify here, the Flieger Classic, I think is very good. It's very symmetrical. I love the Arabics flanking around it. There's nothing cut off. There's no unnecessary date. It's just a very good looking watch. So good on you, Zen. I mean, it's hard to beat your build quality. It's hard to beat what you produce, and everyone that has ever owned it, looked at one, felt one in the hand, they understand why. This is still one of the best value propositions in the game because, even at, let's say, I think what the retail price is around three, if I'm not mistaken.
Sounds right.
It's 2,990 euro, 2,390 euro, 2,600 euro. So let's call it 3,000. You know, for $3,000 for a German engineered Swiss made chronograph, I think it's a great value proposition in that sense. Now again, gone are the days of the $1,500 value proposition, but that was 15 years ago, and we had to be a little bit more realistic these days. So
Right. And if you're looking for that anthracite, that one I believe is limited to
that one is
500 pieces.
yeah.
So these are the 356 Pilot Classic, and I believe it's an anniversary edition, but the anthracite is limited.
Yeah.
So,
So that one, if I do the calculation, it comes out to just around $3,200 US
mhm.
for the limited edition.
Yeah, that seems to be sort of they're almost their going rate now. That's where about the U50 comes in. So, I mean,
But again,
you could still get their time only basic sort of stuff at a reasonable price, but
yeah. But again, this is the complication. It's obviously been done. The dial finishing is improved. I get it, and you have to remember popularity is improved.
yep,
So more
sure has.
people know about Zen now than just the forum and Reddit bros before Reddit was even a thing. You know.
That's right.
So back then it used to be kind of like a small in the know secret, and now the internet has ruined that. So now they can start charging
Yep,
more money.
yep.
That's okay. It's good for them. It's a good business problem to have. So good for you, Zen.
Okay, on to something that I think many, many people have asked for a very, very long time. It appears we have an Alpinist GMT,
Yes,
a
baby.
watch that sort of makes too much sense.
And though, and historically, wasn't there an Alpinist
There
GMT?
have been, correct.
Now it was like quartz and ugly before, but
Yeah, they've had Alpinists sort of all over the map throughout history. I know we think of when people say, "Oh, the Alpinist," we think of the 017 green because
mm-hmm,
that dial and that sort of package that they delivered with that one was really just like beyond what they were putting out at that point.
yeah,
And it
yeah,
was just sort of an amazing sort of deal, bang for your buck.
yeah,
Wow, this is a cool watch. But now that we're seeing sort of like Zen, we're seeing the prices creep up on these. Everybody sort of clamored, said, well, if the Alpinist is going to be an explorer's watch, we need a GMT rendition, a modern
yeah.
one. And so here it is.
I mean, and it's a valid criticism because it almost makes too much sense.
Right.
You know what I mean? It almost makes too much sense. And I love it. I mean, you're the Seiko guy. What do you think?
I definitely want to see one of these in person. It looks like they went after the Explorer 1 and 2 at the same time.
It's funny now that you've said that. You're absolutely correct.
It looks like they were like, let's go
It
after both.
totally does. It totally does. Because it's like, okay, we got a fixed 24-hour bezel mounted externally, a la Explorer 2. We get a ginormous GMT hand. Now
Right.
it's red, not orange, but again, a la Explorer 2. You get the 12369 a la Explorer 1. Uh it's just I don't know. I think you nailed it. It's kind of like let's just target both of them at the same time and go after one. Now we get I guess two official colorways. There's a
Right.
blue on blue, black on black, but there's also like kind of floating around like a white dial version
Yeah,
with
I
blue
can't tell if it's
hands.
white or silver because they
I don't
have a
know.
silver alpinist with blue on it.
Yeah, I
So
don't
I'm not
know,
sure if
but
it's the same
either
one or not.
way, I hope it's real because it looks really good. It looks really, really, really good.
Well, if not, a white would make a very nice limited edition.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And it looks like this particular version was posted originally on the UK Seiko Boutique's Instagram page.
Oh, maybe a slip up.
So maybe it was a slip up, or maybe it was a UK exclusive
Okay,
version.
I could
Because
see
when
that.
you look at the colorways, it's kind of like the British flag colorways, like white, blue, red accents. Maybe it's that. I don't know, but it looks good. I hope
Yeah,
it's not a UK exclusive.
and an interesting. I don't know if I've ever seen Seiko orient the date like that. I mean, it's a 4:30 date, but they've never. I don't think they've ever oriented the date straight at you at the
Yeah.
4:30
Usually
position.
it's like upside down or something
Hold
where
on, they
you have to read
might
it
have done it
sideways.
if I'm thinking back. They might have just done it with the Slim Willards, the new ones. I just can't remember. I know it's a circular date. I can't remember if they oriented it vertically or not.
And
But either way,
this is your favorite style date. This is the Bell and Ross date that
yeah,
you love so
exactly.
much.
The thing that Bell and Ross does better than anybody.
I mean, it's like, hey, we're gonna put a date in a weird position, but we're gonna make it look visibly symmetrical by making the numbers right.
No, somehow it changes
It
the whole
it
look. It
works.
really does.
Absolutely, it works. You can do a 4:30 date if you don't put it sideways, where where people have to read it sideways.
Or put in like a ridiculous window, or my favorite is like too close to one index to the other. Like it needs to
Oh
be down the
yeah,
middle. I'm sorry, it
yeah.
needs to be down the middle. Otherwise, I'm just triggered.
Or you could do it. Was it the Blancpain version? Or no, the Brigade version, which says Swiss made right next
Oh,
to the
yep,
date.
yep.
Oh my god.
So yeah, I mean, I would be very surprised if we didn't get a green one eventually.
I don't know, man.
And they do like to play with these. They like to release these in different.
They do, and that's the thing that's kind of been making me upset with Seiko. It's like you see the first lease, you're like, I give it 6 months, we'll have something new, and it's kind of like a running joke, but it's also really true. I mean, look, perfect example, the GMTs. We just got them. We're like, everyone's like, yeah, I got the GMTs finally in the Seiko 5, and then like new colorways, and it's like, all right, well, let's just wait another 6 months, and we'll get new colorways too. So it's kind of like, do they give us a green, or are they going to do something like, well, this is for the Malaysian market only, and
Right,
it's
that's what
like,
I was gonna say. Is
I'm
they
like,
do a
oh
lot of
god.
foreign market stuff.
It's like, okay, do funky colors for those types of situations, but green, the color that everyone wants, make it
Yeah,
US available
the
because
green,
everyone
yes.
freaking wants it.
Yeah, you could put an off green or a teal green for the Fratello Limited or something.
Yes. Yes, exactly. And it better freaking have gilt. I mean, I don't
It
think you can do an
should.
out I don't think you do an alpinist without the gilt. Because in this case, I get it. This is more of like your urban explorers type watch. But if there's something so intrinsically beautiful about the original sun brushing on that dial with the vibrant green, almost electric green in certain light, and then you marry that with the yellow gold gilting. I think that was one of the coolest looking Seikos, and certainly very, very, very ahead of its time. In the watch space, there was nothing else that looked anything like it, and that's what made the Alpinist so freaking cool. I never owned one, but I knew buddies that had, and every time I saw them wearing it, I'm like, "Can I see it?" And then everybody caught on, and the prices went through the roof. So here we are.
Yeah, it was a very fun watch. And I'm surprised they did a blue in this because not because it directly steps on sort of like the limited ones that they did in the old Alpinist that everybody made a really
Mm-hmm,
big deal
mm-hmm,
about,
mm-hmm.
but you can at least get that similar package in this one now, which is nice. I mean, it's available to everybody, so
Yeah, exactly. And who
we'll
knows?
see.
They'll,
We'll
they'll
see how
they'll do some type of cool collaboration, I'm sure. But other than that, I mean, the watch is a home run. That's for sure.
it's
No question.
certainly something everybody has been asking for, and now it's here.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
We'll see how far they could take it on that one. All right. Unimatic back at it
Oh
again,
God.
my friend.
God, can we just stop? Everything that
Well,
needs to be
they have a
said about
blue
this has
watch
been
now.
said. No, I'm sorry. Just push it off a cliff. Everything that needs to be said has been said. And coincidentally, I'm wearing my U1 first generation, the OG generation before all this nonsense and limited edition collabs. Back when you used to collab with yourself, Unimatic. You used to design watches, and that those days are gone. But here we have a U1. This is the S version slash REV for Revolution. Cool.
It's
They did,
Cerakote, huh?
yeah. So basically, for those of you who have not seen the press photos of this or give a crap, this is a Unimatic US1. So basically, U1 S for Solida movement. So it has an in-house, not in-house, but a Swiss-made movement, which mine has an NH35. So that's how you know mine's an OG. But essentially, they did a collaboration with Revolution, and they did this in a stone-washed cerulean blue Cerakote. So basically, this is a ceramic coating applied to the external part of the case that they intentionally distress and make it look old. So you've literally removed the most crucial aspects of the watch that protect it, which would be the Cerakote. Um, so cool. Now you've exposed the watch. This watch is stupid. Not because it doesn't look cool. It certainly looks cool. It's blue. It's a statement for sure. But like I said, Unimac has literally no identity anymore. They were doing cool stuff back in the day, and now it's just played out with collaboration on collaboration on collaboration on collaboration on collaboration on collaboration, and we get no new innovations. Like we get no new watches, no new designs, nothing's changed, and now we're just like repackaging and recycling the same crap over and over and over and over and over again. And it's old. I'm exhausted. I hate talking about it. We have to talk about it because it keeps coming up, but it's dumb. Design something new. That's it. It's not that freaking hard. It's like these watches were okay when they came out, but they're too fat, they're too bulky. Fix it. It's not this freaking hard. I'm sorry. Like it's not. Your second hands are stupid. The stupid Seiko back loom plot second hand that I cannot stand. This is dumb.
And being tipped in the dial color really doesn't help the legibility here.
No, you can't even see it. You literally legit cannot even see it. I'm sorry. It's the loom is, I mean, and again, I have a first gen, so the loom is arguably some of the worst of any watch that I've ever owned, but I don't own it for that particular reason. A buddy of mine gave it to me. I like the watch aesthetically. It's very pleasing. It's almost sterile, but the thinness of the second hand does not match the blockiness of the rest of the watch. It
I
needs
can
to be
see that.
bigger. It needs to be bigger. It needs to have the lollipop oriented the opposite direction and not this stupid needle type tip secondhand. Like I hate that Seiko style secondhand. Drives me freaking nuts.
You know, it would be cool if the lollipop was just obnoxiously big and could fill each one of the circles.
I mean, that would at least be awesome. It would be different, you know? Why the hell not? But that makes too much sense. Whatever. I can't talk about this anymore.
It's all right. We'll give you another color next week. So,
Don't.
all right. So, from the same old story to something that's pretty novel, if I do say so myself.
Yes, thank God.
We don't talk a lot of Baum and Mercier on this show, but they've got a perpetual calendar watch out in an integrated sports watch.
Yep.
Now, this is going to look a little familiar. It's not quite octagonal. It's actually a dodecagon, which is 12 sides.
Did you look this up? You looked it up.
Well, I
Okay, that's
counted
cool.
them.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Thank you. Thank you
yeah.
for looking at it. Okay.
But
We have to sound like an expert sometimes. I'm sure.
no, that's not. Yeah. Yes. No, but you're still getting the some screws. You're not getting a screw at every single, twist and turn on the bezel here, but you're getting an integrated sports watch. It's a perpetual calendar. It's
Yeah.
only, I'm gonna air quote only here, only 19,000 some odd dollars for something like this. I mean, we've seen similar feats from your Frederic Constance,
Yeah,
right? That
yeah,
was who
yeah.
did the other one, I believe. It's it's neat. It's a decent looking watch. It's really not that bad looking. I mean, yeah, it's is it derivative? Yes. Can you afford the one it's derived from? No.
No. Can you
Can you
get the one
get
it's
it?
derived from? No.
No.
This is also very true.
But you're
But
getting a moon phase. It looks really nice. I gotta hand it to them. It's a handsome watch.
and I'll say this, man. Whatever color this dial is good.
You got to come up with some sexy name like papyrus or something for that, right?
You
Like,
know, it's like linen, it's like champagne. It's a very good looking watch, but I love the fact that they didn't do it with a two-tone. They just went all steel and let the dial do the talking. And that's what I think is really special here. That to me is the most standout feature because even from a mile away, I can see the dial. And that's what I really, 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 really like. So it's a brush dial. You are getting the four different sub dial readouts. So moon phase, day of the week, and then you have month, leap year, individual date, and it's packaged extremely well. Obviously, $19,000 is not a small amount of money,
no.
but for this type of complication, there's really not that many people that play in this price point field where that's even a potential. So kudos to Bob Mercier. I think it's a very cool design. It looks like the bracelet is also interchangeable with some of their other models within the Riviera lineup as well.
Okay.
So you might be able to kind of mix and match and play Barbie, if you will. But cool, man. Exciting for them. Not something that I saw coming, but I'm glad it's here. Why not?
Yeah. Sometimes you got to tip the cap, right? When people do impressive things. Again, have we seen similar? Yeah, but certainly not at all affordable.
No.
Not that 19,000 is affordable, but I know many more people who could swing 19,000 than, you know, the absurd
And
prices that a perpetual calendar usually fetches.
yeah, and we forgot to mention the specs too. I mean, this is 40 mil at under 12 mil
Oh
thick.
yeah, 11.8 I think it is.
That's insane. That's insane. Such good wearing proportions. Very, very, very beautiful design. So you got to give credit where credit is due. That is for sure.
And that is it. That's the story. But I like it. And again, I think that for like a cream dial, this is A1. This is like a gold standard of cream dials.
Yeah,
Very,
it's
very
good.
nice.
It's good.
Very nice. So our topic tonight, it's been a wee bit sabotaged because I had this idea going in, and then I happened to open my phone at the end of
Sure you did.
my
Sure
shift
you did.
today,
Sure you did.
and I saw the news on Hodinky, and I was like, oh well, this is going to take half my episode away because I was going to, the original idea was, is Swatch going, because we've had a lot of sort of quote unquote leaks, right? With people seeing, oh, this I saw the Swatch logo. It was subtly in the ocean, and like I'm like, I don't know if somebody photoshopped that or not. Like we'll
No, it
see.
was legit.
So people are like, oh well now is it the Sea Swatch? Is it the Swatch Pond? I don't know. But
Mm.
then I happened to go browsing at about 7 p.m. and I was like, oh, all right. So it looks like we're getting a Blancpain, which is, I think, in my opinion, the less believable of the two, but we're getting it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, I'll say this. I had always heard, even prior to the rumor of the launch of the Moon Swatch, that the original concept was for one of the higher end brands to do the collaboration with Swatch. And I had already heard that, many years ago that the first kind of collaboration pitch was Blancpain. And that at some point there was actually like a prototype version. And then they quickly pivoted, like, well, if this is going to be this type of moment, why don't we do something that's a little bit more recognizable for the average person? Because I mean, let's be honest, outside of the watch world, how many people do you know? How many people do you think really know who Blancpain is?
Like zero.
Zero. How many people do you know what a moon watch is? It's probably a little bit more prevalent.
Number
So
greater than zero. I'll say that.
number greater than zero. So I think the idea was if this is going to be a home run and Swatch is going to do a true collaboration, why don't we do it with a brand that has more notoriety, that has a little bit more iconicism for not just the watch collector, but for kind of the vast majority of people too. And so I think that they switched to the Omega and the Moon Swatch was created, which I mean, it just rolls off the tongue, the Moon Swatch, right? Like it just is perfect. It's literally perfect. And obviously we know how successful that has been, regardless of the stupid moons and all strawberries. And like, hey, you know what? People bought them and they're selling them out everywhere. So at the end of the day, the only person laughing is Swatch Group. But I'm excited to say the least about this. I didn't think I was going to be. When I had heard the rumors a few years ago, and I was like, okay, Blancpain, Swatch, it doesn't make sense. But I was talking to a buddy of mine, and he's like, "What would you call it?" And I was like, I don't know. And he's like, "I know what I would call it." I was like, "What?" The System 51 Fathoms.
Interesting.
And I was like, "That's actually freaking good." I mean, it makes sense, right? Because I was like, "How would you mash these two together?" Because like Swatch Pond doesn't sound good. It doesn't roll like Moon
Well,
Swatch.
how deep do you think the water resistance will be on this one?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Well, I figure if they could get 100 on the Seiko that I have, they could get 100 on this.
I mean, here's the one thing I'll say. Swatch back in the day had the Scuba Libre collection. That was a 200-meter rated dive watch.
Okay.
It's not impossible. Now, are they going to get a 50 fathoms worth? No, I think it would be more of a play on words,
Yeah.
but why not? But could you imagine a Swatch System 51 fathoms? Like that is cool. And because I know that there was some controversy about this as well. Because I even saw our boy Who Donkey came out of nowhere and posted a video about Ben Clymer interviewing Jean-Claude Bivet, kind of as this is coming out, and he's like, and Blancpain since 1735 has never had a quartz movement, and they never will, because that's kind of the consensus that if they're gonna do this, it's gonna be quartz. I don't think it's going to be. I think they're going to go auto.
That would be interesting.
And it would fit in line with that specific statement. And that statement was made, I don't know, like 5 years ago. He's like, Blancpain will never have a quartz movement and it never will, or something like that. Since 1735, they've never had a quartz movement and they never will. And he doesn't even run the company anymore. But could you imagine if that is true? Could you imagine if 5 years ago he says a statement and the Swatch Group was like, you know what? Blancpain has never had a quartz movement and they never will. And even this watch, we're not going to put a quartz movement in it. I think that would be sick.
I mean, it would definitely be pretty novel. But again, if they could do it in a Seiko, why not? Why couldn't they do it?
Absolutely. Absolutely. 100%. I agree with you. And
Now
I think it would be cool too, the 51 fathoms.
it definitely works. I like Scuba Libre, by the way.
Yeah.
That's a fun name.
Have you never seen those before?
I have not.
They're so cool.
I have not. Although I thought a funny name because if it's only, let's say, 100 meter, it could be the Lagoon Watch
The Lagoon one.
or the Lagoon Swatch instead of Moon. But
Oh, it's actually not bad. Lagoon Swatch.
it's
Yeah,
not
yeah.
horrible. But
It's not
I'll
horrible.
work on it. I'll workshop it. These are the things I think about when I'm driving home at night. I'm like,
Like,
Lagoon
what
Swatch,
would I do?
Lagoon Swatch.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. The Scuba Libre was 200 meters water resistant back in the day. It's not part of the current collection anymore, but you can see them for sure.
let's take a look.
And they were funky.
Oh yeah, they're very bold.
Yeah, they were very bold, but they weren't too large. I
I'm
mean,
not
I
gonna
think they
lie,
were
this
like,
one with the big numerals and the triangle on top looks an awful lot like a Blancpain.
it does because doesn't the 50 pounds have those giant numbers on the quadrants?
That's exactly what I looked at this. I was like, this fits. I mean, just slap a different name on it.
Oh my God, could you imagine if that's what we get?
Yeah. So if any of you want to play along here, it's the Scuba Libre, and the one I'm looking at has this one has red numerals on the bezel, and it I'm not gonna lie, kind of looks like a Blancpain.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Giant numbers, triangles, kind of like oriented on the left hand side. Yeah, and that was a shot from Houdinki, oddly enough.
Yeah, I think I would just go with this and just do a little rebrand.
Did you see this teaser photo?
I did not. That looks neat.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's obviously Photoshop. It's the caption on the top says, "Who's lining
I
up?"
I do see
And
that.
it says Swatch Blancpain System 51 Fathoms. I was like, it's not horrible. It's not horrible.
Now it looks like they're alluding to the different oceans on Earth, so I think you're going to get maybe a different edition
Five.
for yeah for the different oceans.
Yeah, that's kind of what I took from it too. Because I was talking with a buddy of mine, and he's like, "Oh, look, they're five oceans," and I was like, "What do you mean five oceans?" And then I re-looked at the photo, and I saw it. I'm
They
like,
were
ah,
labeled, yeah. So
I was like, ah, they are five oceans there. That's right. The Arctic Ocean, Pacific Ocean, Atlantic Ocean, Indian Ocean, and Antarctic Ocean. So there's probably going to be a specific version orientated for each respective ocean, which I actually did not know they were labeled until you just said that. I
yeah,
looked at the photo. I'm like,
I
oh,
try
they
to
are
take notice,
labeled.
man. I'm about those Easter eggs.
Oh, those blue moons back there. Um, but yeah, so they're labeled five oceans. I'm assuming that means five respective models within the collection range, which is a lot less than like the crazy, was it nine original for the Moon
Well,
Swatch, something like
they can
that?
go seven seas.
No, no, it wasn't nine. It was 11. It was 11
I believe, yeah, because they did
because you
sun.
had eight
Yeah,
planets, the planetoid Pluto, Sun, and Moon. I think that was
yep.
10, 11. Okay. So yeah. And then, whatever Strawberry Moon is and Blue Moon, Neptune,
Whatever
and
those
all
things on the Swiss birthday one.
the Swiss flags or lanterns or whatever it
That's what they
was.
look like lanterns. Yeah.
I'm like, okay, guys. So Blancpain.
But dude, how cool would it be for each one of those oceans if they just brought back a sweet edition of an old Blancpain? Like, if you give me one that's like a no rad dial,
That would be sick.
banger, right? Give me one sort of like the mil spec one with like the
Yeah,
water
yeah, yeah, yeah.
egress indicator, banger.
Yeah.
You know, you can give me a
Yeah.
modern one. I'm just spitballing here. You guys can run with this if you want. But I think it would be cool if you gave me a different one for each ocean instead of just give me a different color.
I
You know,
wouldn't be surprised
I'm
if
just
they do
saying,
something like that. Because I
you
mean, if you think about it this way though, I mean, the moon swatches were pretty imaginative. And those are completely different colors, but they were based on whatever planetoid or celestial body or whatever it was in the solar system that we were talking about, right? The moon, look at the moon once. The sun was more the articulate colors of the sun, things like that. Like that made sense. I wouldn't be surprised if we get something like that in the Scuba Libre or Scuba Libre in the System 51 Fathoms, if that is indeed what they're going to call it. But I think they should.
I mean, they've
Because
got a lot to
I'm,
play with here. They've got a lot of material.
it's funny when you first proposed this idea, I'm like, what the heck are we going to talk about? Because there's not a lot to talk about. But then you start thinking about it, you're like,
There are a lot of wrinkles. That's what I
there,
kept
there.
thinking. I was like, every time I would think about this topic, I was like, well, what about this part of it? Like, what's it going to look like? How many are there going to be? You know, what game are they going to play with their association between the brands? You know, there was so many things. I was like, this is actually like kind of a deep idea here. You know,
I mean, yeah, and I like it. And you know what? This is also a great way to expose another company to the success. Now, do I think it will be as prolific for the entirety of the watch community? Probably not. Because I think the one thing that the Moon Swatch was able to really capitalize was one, Omega's continued success as a company. There's just no denying that. Blancpain is less and less of a relative factor in that space just because where they are in positioning as a brand. They're a brand that has had a pretty steady decline for quite some time. They're a great historic and storied brand, but they need help. And I think maybe that was why, if the rumors were indeed true, and they were going to release a Blancpain version of this before the Moonswatch came out, I'm wondering if that was kind of the creative thinking. Is like, let's make this brand that seems very old and stuffy. Let's make them seem fun again, so that we can invigorate a new clientele into this particular brand.
Yeah, well, if that, if exposure is the name of the game, I mean, this is the way to do it, right? Make something entry level, affordable, fun, right? And if you
Yeah,
were a fan of the Moonswatch, you're a fan of the, whether it's hype culture, streetwear, whatever, right? They've clearly made an impact there. If you're a fan of that, you hear, oh, there's a similar one coming out.
yeah,
Well, why not at this point, right?
yeah, and I agree. I agree. I think it would be certainly something cool. I hope it is as cool as I think it's going to be. And why not? Why not try to get one now?
Well, either way, man, I am ready. This is going to be terrific meme fodder, whether it's the people doing stupid things to them, whether it's, hilarious, different points of connecting between brands or whatever it might be. It's going to be great. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it. And I gotta, I really am looking forward to seeing how they pull this off.
What do you think at price point?
I think they're going to try to keep it low again. I would say maybe max it out at 350 if it's maybe if you get an automatic movement and if you're getting a few more bells and whistles, maybe 350.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to figure out because it's like you think about like
I mean, it
the
also
moon.
depends. Do they are they married to bioceramic or if they can they put can they upgrade it a little bit? These things. There's a lot of ebb and flow here.
Well, it depends. If it's like an irony or something like that, the irony collection, that's what reason why they call it the irony collection because it's made in steel and not
Okay.
plastic. So it's the ironic thing about this particular collection is it's not plastic. Um, but if it is an irony, then that is usually Swatch's indication for some type of metal, whether it's aluminum, whether it's steel or something like that. That's the ironic aspect of it. I think because this Moon Swatch was what price point was
260 now.
two 260
And the some of the golden ones were a little more,
higher.
but not
Yeah,
by much.
not by much, not by much. But I'm just thinking about that because the System 51s, like an OG System 51 plastic, I think it was 150 back in the day. Let's see what they are now. Okay, so a plastic System 51, the starting price point is 165. Okay, if you do something collaborative like a Houdinki, which is still on the Swatch website, it's 195. Now they have other variations too. So within the System 51 family, they have some steel case versions that are 240. There's a two-tone that's 270. So it looks like if it's plastic, it's around, let's say, $200, anywhere between 165 to 200. If it's steel or some type of metal, it's going to be below the 250 range.
We also have to consider it might be a little cheaper because it's not a chronograph.
And that's what I was trying to get at because the other guys are Chronos. So there's technically more inherently parts and all that stuff that's going on, right?
Right.
So technically there could be more to it. I don't know. But even right now, like I can get a small seconds stainless steel case System 51 for $250, $240. That's pretty freaking cool.
Hmm.
So could you imagine a time only secondhand Blancpain 50 fathoms? I could.
And now my next question is, what do they do next, right? Because that this is two now. You're not stopping here. They got to do Breguet, Longines, Glashütte.
You know, why not? I mean, why the hell not?
I think in a affordable, fun, cheapo Longines Big Eye chrono would be sick.
They can do it.
They sure could.
I mean, they already got the chrono movement. Why the hell not? And it's crazy. It might like as much as we might dog on this is like I said, the only people laughing are Swatch. Like the only people laughing to the bank are Swatch Group. Not just Swatch itself because of just one, the explosion of customer base. I mean, they have moon swatches every single day at these Swatch stores. You can walk into them right now and buy whatever you want. There's no question about it. And they sell out every day. That's been going on for 2.5 years.
These are the Starburys of watches.
I mean,
I don't know if Starburys were big by you. They were big by me.
I don't know what a Starbury is,
All right.
but
Well, Stephon Marbury back in the day, when he was on the Knicks, he wanted to make an affordable shoe. The shoes were $20. They sold them at like Dave and Barry's or
okay,
Steve and Barry's. I can't remember even what the hell the name of the
I
normal
don't
store
even know
was. It
what
was the
that
one that used
is,
to
but
sell the college apparel, but like they're out of business now. But
okay.
they could not keep these damn things in stock because people said, why not? I'll get three pairs all in different colors, and
Yeah.
they were all blue, white, black, orange because he was on the Knicks. But these Starburys were like, it was a fun thing because it was for kids who either couldn't afford $200 pair of basketball shoes like Jordans, but it was also, you could buy it and just knock them around and not really feel bad about it. It was cool.
Yeah, that's that. I mean, and again, when you think about it too, for getting two, $20 at three different pairs, you're almost at the price of one set of Jordans back then. 100 bucks, $150. So by getting something like this, you can get as many as you want, and it's nothing.
Yeah.
That's kind of crazy. I see these now that I've Googled them. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yep.
I've seen them before. I didn't know what they were, or I didn't know what they were though. That's cool though. Starburys.
Starburys.
2006 Starberry on the feet. There's videos. Anyway, yeah. I mean, why not? I think that's just kind of the big question here. Like, why the hell not?
Well, if your goal is to make the next generation aware of your brand's presence, this is how you would do it.
I mean, yeah.
Right?
And I mean,
Because listen,
sheesh. I
Rolex
mean,
is going to be Rolex, but they're not going to be able to get a Rolex. So
yeah.
who else do you want them to know?
Especially not now. Did we talk about the Booker thing already?
Yeah, we did. We talked about that last week.
Okay, I can't remember. I'm losing track of days. But man, oh man, oh man.
But so, just like if somebody says, I can't have this, well, I'll just get that, right? You want to be the that. You want to be that other name. If option, even if option one is the most well-known one, well, if I
Yeah,
can't have it, what else am I going with, right? You want to be right there.
yeah, for sure. Well, now I gotta buy two swatches. I wasn't planning on it, but now I guess I gotta buy two. I gotta buy the What If collection, which I absolutely want so bad. And now I gotta buy a Swatch
A
Pawn
Blanc
or
swatch.
Blanc Swatch. I was thinking like Swatch Pawn, Blanc
Somebody
Swatch,
will strike gold
System
on it.
51 Fathoms. I mean, I think that's probably the best one, the System
Well, if
51
not, you
Fathom.
could use it for the Brigade type 51.
It's like Swatch comes out with a System 51 chrono that's automatic.
Yeah.
Just breaks the internet. Why not? I don't know. Oh, I'm just excited though. I mean, I think, and it's crazy because it's like a weird release date too.
Yeah.
It's like on Saturday, which I thought was odd. It's next Saturday, 9/9.
99.
Yeah, I was like, okay, that's interesting. So we'll see.
You gonna
We'll
be able to
see.
get one? 9.
Well, I won't get one anytime soon, but I'll definitely try to hunt one down in my travels around the world. So I'm sure I'll be able to find one at some place. And that's the other thing too, is like I don't know how crazy these are gonna be comparatively to the Moon Swatch. And it's not like I don't think the Swatch group is discontinuing the Moon Swatch anytime soon. So if that's indeed the case, um, you can expect these to potentially sell alongside them. You think they're going to choose the Blancpain, or you think they're going to choose the Omega?
Well, much like strawberries, you could have both.
I mean, that's true, but I wonder if it's going to be one of those situations where, like, well, you can only buy one Omega Moon Swatch, or you can buy one, Swatch Pawn, or whatever the heck you want to call it. Which one do you want to get?
Well, if you already got a moon swatch, no brainer. So,
I mean, I guess that's true. That is true. And a lot of people got Moon Swatches. So,
right. So,
man, could you imagine if they did like a flick flack Moon Swatch?
that'd be neat.
I think that would be sick. Like, I want my kid to have a Moon Swatch. I mean, she already does. They already do. But yeah, yeah. Swatch, let's get those wheels turning, buddy. Flick flack Moon Swatch.
That's it. All right. Well, now I'm excited. I
Yeah.
guess we'll see what happens. We'll have the scoop for you next week,
Yeah,
and
it's gonna be crazy. Whatever the heck it is, it's gonna be crazy. That is for
hopefully
sure.
it'll be a fun weekend. You know.
Yeah. So we'll see. We'll
Yeah.
see.
Yeah. All right, my friend. I'll catch up with you next week and we'll cash it out.